of the Breeders' Cup is brought to you by Chica Hotels, by Häagen-Dazs, rich, creamy Häagen-Dazs ice cream and frozen yogurt. Taste the passion. And by Toyota and their quality line of 1992 cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me.
Winner of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile traditionally is the favorite for next year's Kentucky Derby here at Churchill Downs. Here's the way the fans see the race going. Bertrando from California, 5-2 at the moment. Try to Watch, the New York Champagne winner, 5-1. And as we go down the line, Arazi is the 2-1 favorite. The horse from France, who has won 6 in a row, is the 2-1 favorite for his first race on dirt. Well, in the first race today, champion Housebuster was injured, suffering a non-life-threatening injury, soft tissue injury, and Trevor Denman has an update on his progress.
We're standing here with veterinarian Dr. Owens. Doctor, good or bad news about Housebuster?
Trevor, basically very good. Radiographs have all been examined. There are no fractures. He does have a tear in his suspensory ligament, and it's just a matter of time now to give him some recuperative time. Everything should come along to the best of our ability now to get him healed up.
Was it a little better than you thought originally, or was it pretty bad and then got worse and then cleared up? Did you think it was going to be much what it was like right now when you first saw it?
I think really that the end result is that a tear in the suspensory ligament takes a long time, and when he left the racetrack, he walked off, as you know, into the van himself, into the ambulance, and we anticipate there's going to be a rather short recovery period, considering the injury.
A couple of months he'll be out?
Well, I think so, yes.
Well, that's very good news about Housebuster, and all that's left now is to wish him a very long and successful career at stud. Back to Tom Hammond.
That's right, Trevor. He'll have a long time to get over that injury. This was scheduled to be his last race in any event. Well, it's interesting, John Veitch, to see that the fans have made Arazi the favorite. He's going to race on dirt for the first time. He's in the outside post position, and yet they think he's good enough.
Well, there's no doubt that part of that reason is that we really haven't had a standout two-year-old in the East Coast or on the West Coast. We've had a couple that have run very well, but nothing has been very convincing. Certainly the horse from California seems to be the best that America has to offer, but Arazi has been absolutely brilliant in Europe. I've talked to a fellow that had watched him run a couple times and said that he probably could be one of the best two-year-olds that they've seen there in many, many years. So they're very, very keen on him, as they should be.
Well, you know, we talk about horses being on dirt for the first time when they come over from Europe, but actually at Chantilly, where they train the horses in France, they do have some dirt gallops, don't they?
Oh, very much so. Almost all of these European horses have, those from England and Ireland, France, have all trained on the dirt. They train on the dirt more probably than they do on the turf. So it's an easy transition.
Look at the goggles there on SHOWBROOK. This is something unusual. Have you ever seen that?
No, I've never seen what they would call goggles. They certainly, you know, they look like blinkers, or they look like the old isinglass covers that used to cover eyes, horses that had eye problems. But these are apparently some sort of mesh to keep the dirt out. So it's maybe it's an innovation, but it certainly looks strange.
Did you see that in the program? Change of equipment, SHOWBROOK, goggles on. I don't know if I've ever seen that in a program before. The goggles on. There is Arazi as the Paulson colors again on the back of Pat Valenzuela, who looks for 2 wins in a row this Breeders' Cup day. Valenzuela in the Paulson colors, getting opening verse home first at an upset in the Breeders' Cup mile. Horses making their way toward the racetrack now. Arazi, if he should have a good performance today, perhaps will stay in America and run in the Kentucky Derby next spring. Here are the horses for the Juvenile, sponsored by Delta Airlines. Number 1, AGINCOURT, signed by Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner Capote. He won Belmont's Futurity, but was beaten 45 lengths in the Champagne. Ridden by the former leading rider in Peru, Jorge Chavez, who's competed in the U.S. since 1988. Number 2, Pine Bluff, owner John Ed Anthony of Loblolly Stable, names all his horses for Arkansas landmarks. Pine Bluff, the horse, hasn't yet reached landmark status, though, having won only a maiden race. Number 3, Try to Watch, races in the colors of 94-year-old Fred Hooper, whose first horse, Hoop Jr., won the Kentucky Derby here in 1945. Try to Watch galloped away from the field in the Champagne, winning that 1-mile test by 7.5 lengths. Number 4, Bertrando, named for restaurant owner Bertrand Hug of Rancho Santa Fe, California, and partly owned by trainer Bruce Headley's 15-year-old son, Gus. Sired by former Classic winner Skywalker, Bertrando is unbeaten in 3 starts, including a 9-length romp in Santa Anita's Norfolk Stakes. Number 5 is Showbrook. This Irish-bred colt races in the U.S. for the first time. He has the goggles on. He's won 4 of 8 in Europe. His trainer, Richard Hannon, a former drummer in a rock group, the Trogs. Number 6, Star Recruit, a $52,000 purchase this year by the Dandar Farm. A good investment. He's already earned over $200,000. Number 7 is Snappy Landing, who was second in the Champagne for Frederick McNeary, county supervisor of Saratoga Springs, New York, site of America's oldest operating racetrack. Number 8 is Bag, sired by Devil's Bag in a $67,000 purchase earlier this year. After winning a restricted stake at Fairplex in California, he was third in the Norfolk. Number 9, Big Sur, purchased by Wayne Lucas for $400,000 at the Keeneland yearling sale. He's a son of the late Alidar. Big Sur was winner of the Sapling Stakes at Monmouth Park. Number 10, Dance Floor, You Can't Touch This, could be the most popular song at the Downs if Hammer's horse wins. The late developing Dance Floor has won 2 in a row, including Keeneland's Breeders' Futurity. Number 11, Arazi, the European champion 2-year-old, bred by Buffalo Bills owner Ralph Wilson. The colt was purchased as a weanling by Alan Paulson for $350,000. When Paulson entered him in the Keeneland yearling sale, the bids weren't high enough, so he sent him to France to race. Now that he's reeled off 6 consecutive wins, the bids are high enough. Sheikh Mohammed just purchased half interest in Arazi for $5 million, and a good performance today could bring him back for the Derby. Number 12, Onlooker, in the Mutual Field, trained by the legendary Woody Stevens, now 78 years old, just a year after quadruple bypass surgery, one of the greatest trainers in the history of the sport. This colt broke his maiden at Belmont by 10 lengths. 13, Devil on Ice, 4th in the Champagne, ridden by Jose Santos, who has been aboard 5 Breeders' Cup winners, including Fly So Free in the Juvenile last year. Number 14 is Offbeat, owned by Denny Phipps, chairman of the Jockey Club, which officially registers all American thoroughbreds. This colt has only a maiden win to his credit. Greg McCarron once again on horseback out on the track. And what do you see from these horses, including Arazi, who's on dirt for the first time, Greg?
Well, Tom, I've certainly got to pay attention to him, because earlier this week, Pat Valenzuela got an introduction to him to try to get used to him, and unfortunately he propped and wheeled and dropped Pat. So I see he's with a lead pony right now and probably will act all right, but he'll bear watching in this post parade with all these people here. The other one I've been looking at is those goggles on Showbrook, and I'm telling you, I don't know that they could possibly work without, you know, it looks like they would almost, if they get covered with dirt, blind them instead of help them see.
All right, so Arazi continues to reign as the favorite. The fans think he can transfer his European form to the United States. Maybe he will be the favorite for next year's Kentucky Derby. Breeders' Cup Juvenile coming up in a moment.